Alright, guys, today I want to talk real quick about the role of creativity in verbal game, and more specifically in dealing with girls. Okay? A lot of guys, they're so dry and boring and they're logical and they're just being dudes, and I get it, but you need to step up your game in this area if you actually want to get laid. Okay? The main reason is this: sex itself is an emotional experience. Okay? It's fucking emotional. If you're trying to be logical, if you're not trying, you just are being logical, you can't really logically get into a girl's pants. Okay? I've done it a few times, and afterwards I'm like, whoo, that was crazy, man. But it wasn't like you just don't logically get into a girl's pants. You create an emotional experience. She wants to bang, you guys have sex. Okay? Let me get into a couple more specific scenarios though. One of the clinch times where massive amounts of creativity and expression and the ability to like just kind of weave a story, it definitely happens like for sure mid-game and such, but when you're pulling and there are hard logistics at play, like you're walking with a chick somewhere, like, okay, I'm taking her to my car, or I'm taking her upstairs to my fucking room or whatnot, yo, you've got to have creativity, okay? Because it is at this point where almost every guy complains about this that actually even gets to this stage. Yo, this girl actually broke her own state. She took things logical and broke her own state and talked herself out of it. What the fuck am I supposed to do when she does that? Well, the answer is that you're still supposed to handle that, okay? A lot of girls are going to do that. And it's really just one of the last shit tests at the end to kind of see what kind of a guy you are. And if you're fucking German, Austrian, fucking little software developer guy, it's not going to happen, okay? Interestingly enough, I sort of brought up a stereotype that we have as dating coaches in the community. But I've definitely worked with the German guys. I'm working with one right now. He's in Australia right now. And this motherfucker is emotional as shit. Like, he's very creative. When I put him through certain verbal creativity drills, he just goes off. So he's definitely beating the German stereotype. So it's absolutely possible, okay? But I want to kind of hit that point again, okay? If you're dealing with girls and you're dealing with hard logistics, you're trying to get the girls to the car, they're kind of having an argument or discussion with each other about if they should go or not, dude, it ain't logic at that point that's going to win the game. It is creativity, okay? So for example, I was pulling two girls out of the Cosmo lobby. This was a couple years back. Two girls. They were both 19. And one of their brothers was like security at Cosmo. I've got all these Cosmo stories. Jesus. But that's because it's a great place. Anyway, she's like, yeah, my brother's right there. We better kind of do this. I'm like, all right, cool. So pull them. And we come out outside. And it's interesting because a lot of my guys complain about the fact that, at least before they're trained, they're like, hey, you know, without the distractions and the music and the loud noise and flashing lights of the club, I can't really hold their attention. Well, we have to train in that area because there are obviously going to be times where you have to hold court. You have to put on a fucking, I don't want to call it a performance, but to a certain degree, it's a goddamn performance. You're like, hey, ladies, I'm fucking awesome. Here's why you're going to blow me, okay? And that is part of what's happening. This is the experience you're crafting for these chicks. So anyway, I'm pulling these two girls out. All of a sudden, no more club. It's just quiet on the sidewalk. And I'm like, okay, John, time to hit it, right? So there are these, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Vegas, but there are these like weird statues outside Cosmo. And they're little gargoyle heads and they've got like this horn. And I start weaving the story about dragon unicorn dildo heads. And I start like telling this tale. And I'm just using this shit to weave the story. And both girls are cracking up. And then I take them upstairs and I fuck them both. Hey! Right? So that's what you guys have to understand. Like, you've got to be able to spin a story, tell a yarn, okay? Verbal expression, creativity. It is the name of the game, okay? Not just that, but when states start to crash, when women start to fight with each other, or whatever sort of negative factors start coming into your sets, okay, and your experiences with chicks, you have to be able to negate it. You have to be able to overwhelm it in a positive, creative fashion, okay? Me and my buddy were pulling these three girls from this club in downtown San Diego. French-Canadian girls. Two of them were just, they were stunning. And the other one was like the kind of a pain in the ass in the group. She'd gotten them kicked out, so we're like, oh cool, they're getting kicked out, let's go with them. she's crying, screaming, yelling. She's angry because she sees that her two girls have two guys and she doesn't have a guy, right? So she's getting kind of pissed off and she's being very vocal about it. Well, my girl, and this is one of those situations where you start to kind of realize, okay, these girls either don't know how to handle things correctly or they are trying to logically break their state. She starts like arguing with this chick and trying to logically convince her that everything's okay. And I have to grab my girl. I'm like, yo, let me handle this. And they're talking in French, Canadian, whatever the fuck that is, Canadian bacon. And so I take a completely different approach. I just come up on this chick and I'm like dancing, right? And we're like walking along and I start singing the signs on the street corners and on the sides of buildings and the you know, like barbershop. There's like, oh, it's a barbershop. And I start like reading off deals on the window. And this girl's looking at me at first like I'm fucking crazy, because I am. But she's kind of like, there's like a glimmer of like, wait, what the fuck's happening right now? And I just keep going, just doing my thing. And at a certain point, her tears dry up, because she was fucking crying, okay? Her tears dry up, and she starts smiling and laughing, and then starts pointing out signs, and I'm just like singing whatever she's pointing out at, okay? I can't sing, I'm terrible, okay? Don't be like, oh my God, John can sing, that's why he gets laid. Fuck that, okay? I can't sing for shit, but I will put in the effort, you know what I'm saying? Well, anyway, tears dry up, she's in the happy mood. I let her go. I take my girl out on the harbor and I take her pants off. She's wearing teddy bear panties. I was like, oh my God. And then we have sex, okay? And that was that. So anyway, lesson to be learned. Creativity. You gotta fucking have it, guys. You gotta have it, okay? All right, we go into this massively. Verbal drills. How to craft the neural pathways from your brain to your mouth so you can just go blah, blah, and a story comes out that melts girls' panties. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Manwhore@manwhore.org. Talk soon.